Welcome back to Loonsville. I am Jeff, aka BKA Jeef Bird. For those that don't know, aka means also known as, BKA means better known as. You're fucking welcome, bitches. And I am joined once again by the Reverend, the slippery when wet cannibal, Sid.
We're doing openings every time? No, we didn't do that before.
No, we're not doing openings every time. I just really wanted to say the slippery when wet cannibal.
Yeah, well, I mean, everything's slippery when wet.
Literally the whole reason I just did that was just to be able to say slippery when wet.
I mean, that's good. I mean, it's true.
All right. I want to know your opinions because as of recording this, tomorrow, or 2 days from now, rather, it's either tomorrow or in 2 days, Hellraiser comes out. And before it even comes out, I want to talk about thoughts on whether or not it's going to be good, thoughts on whether or not they are going to be hated for casting a woman as Pinhead after people have seen it, because people are already complaining, and I know this, but
They usually do.
Do you think they will continue to once it has been seen? And we're going to talk about some other things that are dropping in the next couple weeks as well before they air, and then I would like to come back to the things, once we've actually seen them. We've got Hellraiser, Halloween, the second season of Chucky is coming out, and I know you can't speak on that very much because you have not yet taken the time to watch the first season, but you should.
I have not.
As a matter of fact, let me just check and see if I have that still on my... I still have that on my media server. So if you want to watch Chucky, you definitely can and should. All right, but Hellraiser.
I shall. I've done it once.
Do you think... It's only 8 episodes, by the way, Chucky. So it's not a lot to get to. It's I think 40 minutes an episode. It might be hour-long episode.
And it's
45 minutes.
It continues after Cult, right? Like it's after that.
Yes, this is a Don Mancini production. It is written and directed by the great one himself, and it continues the story of Cult of Chucky. So it follows in the trail of the actual movies. It is not its own thing. I mean, it is its own thing, but it also is part of the grander Child's Play / Chucky series. As many of us know, Don Mancini does not own the rights to Child's Play, but he was smart enough to retain the rights to Chucky.
Yeah.
The character and the name, which is why after Child's Play 3, Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky and Curse of Chucky, Cult of Chucky,
and then just Chucky.
And then this series Chucky.
Yeah. That's like perfect. That's like the embodiment of horror movie names. It goes off and then it's just the name.
Totally. It's when he did Bride of Chucky, I actually made a note on how he was gonna follow in the footsteps of Frankenstein, because Frankenstein did, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. I think Dracula had Dracula, Brides of Dracula, and then
and then there's the House of both. There's the House of Dracula and the House of Frankenstein. If we're talking about Universal,
and while he did not go with the House of Chucky, he did.
I think there's a Curse of Frankenstein, but that's a Hammer flick.
Yeah, it is. And there is. I'm 75% sure.
Yeah.
I think there's also a Curse of Dracula and Curse of the Mummy and, several. Yeah.
Blood of Dracula.
Typical horror stuff.
I just like how they just do the name now. That's what Halloween's going to end up doing. It's just going to be called Michael.
Oh my God. That would be hilarious. Life with Mikey. And I'm not talking about that amazing Michael J. Fox flick from the early 90s either. I'm talking about just Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Ghostface, and Michael Myers living in a house together.
Like The Odd Couple, but with supernatural serial killers.
Yeah, just slashers in a house.
Three's Company.
Fucking epic. In the end, they all kill Ghostface because he's not one of them.
Yeah, he's not supernatural. Well, neither is Michael. Well, I mean, he's not supposed to be, and then they turned him back into supernatural, but that's another story.
Okay, we're gonna save that for the Halloween discussion. Starting with Hellraiser, and then we'll jump into Halloween because now I really want to talk about that. I myself, I'm excited. I can't wait. I've been looking forward to this since they announced it in late 2020. I am excited to see them change the dynamic, I guess, of the show, or not the show, the movie, a little bit by changing the characters up. I'm curious to see how they do it and how it goes. I hope that it is better than the last
installment.
Well, the last several installments of Hellraiser.
That's not a high bar.
It's not a high bar. They should be able to clear it with ease, and I hope that they do, because Judgment was not terrible. It was all right. It's not fantastic. It's not Hellraiser 2. It's not Hellraiser 3. Both of those are medium bar. Hellraiser is iconic. It is great. Hellraiser 2 continues from Hellraiser. It is still good. It's not as good, but it's not terrible. Hellraiser 3 was equally okay as Hellraiser 2. Hellraisers 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all kind of like, what the fuck, man? I got a great idea. Let's put Pinhead in space.
I mean, that's a normal horror movie thing.
I got a greater idea. Let's put Pinhead on the internet. I got a even
have a digital puzzle box, I guess.
Better idea. Yeah, they did. Hellworld, or I think it was Hellworld was the one where it was on the internet.
Yeah.
Or Hellscape or something. I can't remember. They all had these they tried to be whimsical and punny with their movie names also. And after a while, it just got kind of, Judgment was the most recent one. I believe that was 2019, early 2019, when Hellraiser Judgment came out. And I was really hopeful for the movie to bring it back to kind of the dark, gritty, bring it back to the roots of Hellraiser, and it didn't. They used a weird color filter. You and I have talked about this before. It's fucking annoying when you color correct things to a hue. Okay, I got a great idea. Everything should be blue. No, it shouldn't. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Right, everything should be blue.
And from what I've seen in still images of this, I might have that problem again, because some of the still images I've seen from the new movie, they have a tone to them, and I'm not sure if that's because it wasn't finished or if people stole those images or what, but I'm really hoping that they don't use a color filter over the entire movie, or do the other thing, which is equally annoying, in using a color filter just to separate areas, backgrounds, location shit, like not locations for filming, locations in the story. Like, some people, when they color correct things, it fits. Like Zack Snyder 300. It's color corrected to look like a comic book. It makes sense. It works out. There are other movies where when they're in one area, it's blue, another area, it's got a green hue, and another area, it's red. That's fucking irritating. The Matrix has a kind of greenish tinge to the entire movie. It's the color scheme. It works. It fits. You don't even really notice unless you try to, or unless you pull the actual LUT from the movie, which you can do using programs like Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve. You can copy a LUT from a scene of a movie into a color code that you can use yourself on your own footage. I know that the entire Matrix movie is done in a greenish hue because I have pulled it to overlay it on my own things. I've never actually gone through with it, but I did it. Yeah, I really hope they don't do that with this movie. I just fucking make it. Like the first one, the second one, the third one, they didn't have any of that. I think when they started doing that kind of shit, I don't know, it just made it irritating to watch, which is sad. I mean, Hellraiser had the potential to be great, and there's always the argument of things being done to death and overdoing storylines. Children of the Corn, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, things that continue stories for arguably too long without evolving or adding. I mean, Nightmare kind of eventually corrected itself and then fucked itself again, and then tried to re-correct itself, but fell really fucking hard. And then it made it better with New Nightmare, which doesn't follow the narrative, but actually pulls out and covers the actors, actresses, and crew that worked on the movies and makes Freddy a real demon coming to life in the form of his cinematic character. I loved that idea. I still love that movie. It was unique and it was good. Friday the 13th, they also tried to correct themselves from getting too stale and repetitive by introducing some things that expanded on the narrative and introduced recurring characters. But then they scrapped all of that and said, you know what, we should go to Manhattan. At which point they filmed it in Alberta, Canada, which looks nothing like Manhattan, and on a ship. And then they went to space. Well, then they went to hell, and then they went to space.
He wasn't really in hell. He just was possessing people and then went to hell at the end.
Yes. And then, you've got... I don't want to throw the Leprechaun into this because the Leprechaun that's fucking cinema gold right there.
Yeah, he went to space, the hood.
Everywhere. When is Jason going to the hood?
Why would Jason go?
Why would Jason go to the hood? Why the fuck did the Leprechaun go to the hood?
Because it's funny.
Yeah, exactly. But the Leprechaun was more like, I think, that's one where I think it worked out to their benefit, is that they realized that the character of the Leprechaun itself wasn't just demonic in nature or diabolical, dastardly, disgusting, evil. He was also hilarious, and they kind of noticed that with Freddy also, and they tried to play into it, but a lot of it, like, the credit goes to Robert Englund. Because if they would have ended up sticking with the recasting of Robert when he refused to do another one, it never would have worked out. I think Robert Englund is the only reason that Freddy succeeded for the duration of 7 movies.
Yeah, well, like with the Leprechaun he is funny. He is after his goal. He kills people.
And he's always telling little quips. Like, it became his calling card and his thing. And then they just started playing off of that more and more.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. And I think it works with the Leprechaun more than it kind of works with Freddy or
anything else.
When it works with Chucky. They started doing it more with Chucky, too.
This is true, yes. They definitely, when Bride of Chucky came, Don definitely changed the pace of Chucky from...
He's going to space next.
Dark and evil to... hilarious, and it definitely did work. And he keeps his horror notes in there, absolutely, and he really balances the comedy and horror well. It's not one or the other. It doesn't take away from either factor. I love Don Mancini. I'm just gonna say it. Gay people do horror better. Fight me. Go ahead. Name a guy that does horror. A horror writer, director, cinematically. Name one.
That's not gay?
No, just name one.
Oh, that does it better than Don Mancini?
No, that has done something profound and amazing historically.
Oh, in horror?
Yeah, in the last, say, 40 years. Gay.
Yeah.
The guy that did Scream, gay. Guy that did Chucky, gay. Guy that did Final Destination, gay.
Was Wes Craven gay?
What? No, he directed it. He didn't write it. Okay, I should have said horror writers specifically. You got Brian Fuller. You've got Kevin Williamson. You've got Don Mancini. You've got Jeffrey Reddick. I like
John Waters.
John Waters.
If we're talking about the grades, he should be thrown in there.
There are just notably a lot of wonderful horror writers that are gay. And it's funny because so many people hate on gay people, and then you tell them the great things that they've done, and they're like, but they're not gay. And you're like, they're fucking not just gay. They're gay with a capital cock ring, okay? They're super gay.
And then it goes all the way back.
I didn't even list Clive Barker. We're sitting here talking about Hellraiser, and I didn't even mention Clive Barker.
We're about to go all the way back to the... you could say Stephen King. If we're naming ones that aren't. But, I'm not a big Stephen King fan.
There are notably, horror writers novelists that, are not gay, yes. And they're great. They're very well known. Also, I think it's to each their own in that aspect.
Yeah.
Stephen King is a great writer, but some of his stuff is not
great.
Yeah, it's not. One of my favorite things was one of the skits they did on a cartoon, and Stephen King's there, and they're bitching at him because he hasn't pitched his next book yet, and he's just dried up out of ideas, and he's like, all right, I've got a new one. It's about a scary lamp. Ooh. They're like, fuck you, Steve.
But since we're going back around to Clive Barker, I haven't actually watched the trailer for the new Hellraiser.
I don't know
I'm
if
staying
there
away from it.
is a trailer. I haven't looked. I don't want to see it. All I've seen are the
Yeah.
screenshots of the Cenobites themselves.
Yeah, I'm kind of staying away from a trailer and just going blind.
Yeah,
like I did all the other ones.
Typically like to go into things blind myself. Otherwise, I notice things right off the bat. I don't like to base things on the trailer because trailers are generally compiled before movies are finished. Like post isn't completed yet. Color correction's different. VFX are different. Some of the things are not going to be in the movie. Some of the things are going to be different. They're reshoots or B-takes in the trailers, stuff like that. And it's just, I don't know. I don't think it's fair to the movie or the viewer themselves to have things like that happen, but they have to happen for promotional reasons. Like you can't wait until some movies don't get completely finished until a couple weeks, if not like maybe a month before air date. Some, depending on how much after processing needs to go into it. Others are done a year before the movie comes out. And yeah, you can get a trailer. Like comedy movies, sure, you could do that. There's not a lot of VFX stuff. You have a lot of jokes you can put in there in the trailer, I mean. And you have leeway with that. You shoot fucking 10 scenes, you've got your trailer, and it doesn't take away from what you're going to see when you see the movie. Horror movies and stuff, they're a little different. Some studios like to go the route of putting every good scene that you're going to see into your 3-minute trailer, and then you watch the movie and you're like, wow, what a pile of shit. Everything that wasn't stupid about this was in the trailer, including the fucking ending.
All right.
Have you ever seen the movie Quarantine?
Yes.
The end of that movie is actually in the trailer.
Yeah, I've also seen the original version. So.
Yeah. Have you ever seen Pulse?
Yeah. I've also seen were you talking about the Japanese one or the American remake?
Either.
Yeah.
Just in general.
Was that Japanese?
Yes. I want to say the original is Japanese. The remake was American. And I think both are good movies. I didn't hate Pulse. I did not see the sequel because I didn't think the first one was good enough to warrant me watching the sequel, but I didn't hate it. Quarantine, on the other hand, I wasn't a huge fan of. I mean, it was an all right movie, but I was also like, wait, the end of this movie is literally in the trailer. Like, they show you how the movie ends in the trailer. Thought that was kind of stupid.
Yes, it really is. But that's the only really thing they had that would probably pull people in.
Yeah, every climactic bit about the whole thing is in the trailer, including the fucking end of the movie.
We have Quarantine, and that's Wreck, right?
Yeah, Record is another one.
Well, that's the original, I think.
No, I think well, they might both be based on the same source material because I think they're their own movies. I'm gonna Google it really quick.
Well, one's America and one's Spanish, I believe.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Wait, no, I think Quarantine movie.
I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just going off
Quarantine
memory.
and Quarantine 2. It's an American found footage film. So it is US.
But it's a remake. Yeah, it's a remake of a Spanish one.
And the Record movie is, yes.
It might not be Record, though.
Record is a Spanish supernatural zombie horror. So they are not, they're not the same thing.
There's one that was a remake. Maybe it's not Quarantine.
There's a lot of them that are remakes.
Yeah, it's a remake off of one of them. Yeah, let me see. Look it up.
Look it up. Anyway, I have high hopes for Hellraiser, but I also have, my skepticisms on whether or not it will be good just because of the history of the franchise, where it's been, how it's gone. What is your take?
I haven't seen much on it. Yes, it is a remake of Record.
What is?
Quarantine.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure I was right. I haven't seen much on it. I mean, I hope it's good. They kind of set the bar pretty low. So if it's better than that, which I hope it is, then I'll be happy. I know a lot of people are upset about the gender swap, but Pinhead, I personally don't care.
I don't think Pinhead necessarily needs to have a gender, though.
Well, actually, the character just goes by Hell Priest in the books, and it's supposed to be sexless.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they want to get upset about it, let them be upset about it. I remember reading that one of the movies was supposed to be with a female Pinhead. I
Yeah.
don't know if it's the first one or maybe the second one, but it was supposed to follow the story of like the first movie, I think, and it was gonna be all weird and sexy and shit, because
It's Clive Barker.
and yeah,
He does weird and sexy
and that didn't end
and
up
super
happening.
gay.
Yeah, and that didn't end up happening. So
No.
if this is what that was supposed to be, I'll probably end up enjoying it. If it's
Yeah.
just, I don't know if they're even going to explain it. Is it just a pure like full on reboot?
I have no idea
Is it
myself.
a soft one?
I don't
Like,
know if
who
it's a
knows?
reboot. I kind of hope that it is a reboot.
Yeah, we don't need one Pinhead passing the torch to another or anything.
No, and I don't need a continuation. I mean, if you've seen the last Hellraiser movie,
Yeah,
Pinhead dies anyway. So
yeah.
this could be a continuation. I would prefer it not to be honest.
I would hope it like follows the book. Maybe I don't like the first one follows the book pretty decently and it changes a few things, but they did a good job on it. And that's Clive Barker writing and directing based off of his own book.
Yep.
I don't know enough about this to have like an opinion if I think it's gonna be good or not.
Well, I mean, I don't know anything about it myself. I still have my opinions. Well, not necessarily opinions. I have my desires and hopes, I should say. I don't have opinions on what it's going to be because they would be baseless.
Yeah, I'm not saying you. I'm talking mostly the people that I see on the interwebs.
Yeah, people like to shit on things based on nothing. Like, I went to IMDb and I read what the movie's about, and guess what? I don't like it because she's a woman.
Yeah, I read what the movie's about too. It was called a book.
Right?
I mean,
by the way, for the listeners out there and the viewers, if you have not read The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker or the entire anthology series, which it is now in, do that. Either read the story itself or read all of them. It's in a collection. What's the name of that book?
Hellbound Heart?
No, not The Hellbound Heart. It's in an anthology series now. Like there's a collection of books by Clive Barker that The Hellbound Heart is part of.
Are you talking like the Books of Blood and stuff?
Yes, the Books of Blood. Thank you. That is exactly what I was talking about. Check those out. They're worth the read. I hope you. I don't know. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. Just give them a read.
Yeah. Also read the Scarlet Gospels.
Yeah.
Because that kind of continues Hellbound Heart, which is a novella.
Yes.
I think it's funny now we're talking books, and the episode like a while ago was like, "What's a book?"
What are words?
I don't fucking read.
I fucking love that little tangent I went on about how letters form words and words form sentences, sentences form paragraphs, paragraphs form pages.
Yeah.
Pages come together to make these things called novels, novellas, works of literature. Yeah. So I guess that is all we can say really about Hellraiser. Just equally both hoping that it's good, hoping that they forge their own path, don't try to go off the movies that have already existed or continue that story. It would be much better to just create a new cinematic experience while also creating a new narrative that they can go off of. I think that would be beneficial both in terms of just doing a single project or making it a multiple production thing where they make sequels.
I would also like to add that like Pinhead, they were never called Pinhead.
No, Pinhead's the name that Clive gave Pinhead after people called him that.
Yeah, Clive Barker doesn't even like the name Pinhead.
No.
So hopefully one day we could get to a point where we could have a movie refer to how it was like supposed to be referred to.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that they don't refer to it as Pinhead in this. I mean, people are calling it Pinhead, but that doesn't mean that the movie has to, and I don't think it should.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, I haven't seen this one, and I hope we get to a point where we don't just keep calling it Pinhead.
Like, if they were to do, NECA and various other collectibles creators make horror sets every year. You know, you can find Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Chucky, Michael Myers, Pumpkinhead. You can find all of this stuff, and they do have Pinhead and the Chatterer and all of the other Cenobites. You can buy collectibles of them. I would like to see if they do one or multiples from this movie, I would like it to say Hell Priest instead of Pinhead.
Let me look it up on IMDb real quick. Let's scroll down.
Are you just going to look at the character cast and see if it's cast as Pinhead?
Yeah. I'm guessing it's Jamie Clayton, right?
That is correct.
It is credited as the priest.
Nice.
Okay.
Cool. So now we know too much. Fuck. Good. That's good. Now that actually without doing too much, that gives me hope. I like that.
Yeah.
Good. So maybe this will be a reboot. All right. I don't want to get into this because I'm going to start looking stuff up. I don't want to look stuff up. I have 2 days. I have struggled for the last year since they started actually releasing information about it, since it went into post-production, to not learn anything about the movie. I've made it this far. It comes out. I can't remember if it's tomorrow or Friday. So
do you know what he's called in the original? He's just credited as the lead Cenobite.
September 28th. What? He's just credited as the lead Cenobite?
Yeah, and then he started being called Pinhead in the second one. So
yeah,
we're going back to the priest, which is cool.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
So moving on, the next movie on the docket coming out next Friday, the finale to the David Gordon Green, Danny McBride Halloween trilogy, Halloween Ends, releases.
I'm not excited.
I'm happy to finally see it. I am not excited. I have less hopes for it than I did when it was optioned and when I learned that they were making 3 movies, specifically because of Halloween Kills, but also because historically, when you put too many writers on a movie, for TV shows, it works. It works for multiple reasons with TV shows.
Yeah.
But when you do it with films, it has more of a tendency to ruin things and make a consistent narrative or consistent decisions harder. And Halloween, the 2018 movie that David Gordon Green and Danny McBride did, they were the 2 writers and David Gordon Green directed it.
It was excellent.
And it was perfect. They took away the supernatural element of Michael Myers. They took away Laurie Strode being related to Michael. They took away a lot of things and kind of rebranded Michael Myers as just being a psychopathic stalking killer again. And they also shot it very well. It was honestly one of the best Halloween movies I have seen since the original, and a couple of the sequels that I do enjoy. I did enjoy H2O and, yes, Halloween 2. I mean, I enjoy a lot of them, but I don't think they're good movies. I find them fun and entertaining. I don't think that they necessarily work with things. Also, I did like Halloween 4, but that's just because I had a huge crush on Danielle Harris, so
yeah, and she did good, and I mean,
and yeah, even as a kid, because I saw her in Halloween 4 and Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, and yeah, like I genuinely had a crush on Danielle Harris as a child myself, not her. Like, yeah, she was a child, but I was a child. Shut up, all right? It fucking works. I'm not sick.
It does.
It's not pedophilia.
I mean, if you go back, it is, but
she's older than me. I'm not a pedophile. All right. Anyway, moving on. So back to what I was saying, the more writers, the less I feel confident in the production succeeding or even being good narratively. And I feel like that was one of the downfalls of Halloween Kills, is it didn't have just Danny McBride and David Gordon Green writing it, directing it. They had another writer on that movie. And I don't know that the things I didn't like about it are that writer's fault, but I would like to blame them because
I mean, they definitely weren't on the same.
Danny McBride
wavelength.
did the first movie, and they had all of the right ideas. In the second one, they start reintroducing Michael as being a supernatural being, which I don't get. Like, removing that element was what made their first go work and so good. And then also just a lot of the things that they had going on in that movie were unnecessary and I felt didn't work and were just dumb. I've talked about it
Yeah.
multiple times. The whole scene in the hospital with the mental patient getting chased down and then
Yeah.
committing suicide, I felt like that whole thing could have been cut out. It was not
Didn't we
necessary.
talk about it?
Yeah, we did at length.
Okay.
And then, a lot of the dialogue choices. Yeah, we did a whole episode on this and we just kept saying, evil dies tonight. He's after me. Because, like, they kept fucking saying it and every character is fighting over who Michael's trying to kill. And it's like, he's trying to kill all of you and none of you at the same time. He doesn't fucking care about you.
Well, they didn't bring back the third writer, so.
No, but now they have 6.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, yeah, if you're writing with someone, you guys have to be on the same wavelength, or you're gonna have a mixed mash of.
I don't know,
It doesn't work. I don't think it matters how many. It just matters if they're all like on the same process. Like, yes, 2 is usually better. Like, if you and me wrote something,
yeah, well, it's
we'd probably be on
easier
the same
to,
wavelength.
yeah.
We'd communicate and we're like, oh, I like that. Let's put that in and blah, 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 blah.
It is okay to have 2. Like,
And then maybe
absolutely.
3 would be okay too if that person was also on the same wavelength. And they obviously weren't.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if Halloween Ends turns out to just blow my mind and be absolute perfection, I will be more than happy. But I'm not going to assume that it is or hold my breath for it.
Definitely not.
So,
I'm excited. I like the fact that they made him not supernatural anymore. I like that kind of slant to it because, I mean, we had.
Yeah, but then they started
6,
bringing that
7
element
movies.
back in the
Yeah, that's
fucking
my
Halloween
point.
Kills.
We had 6 movies before that he was the supernatural, the embodiment of evil. And then we get this movie that's like, nope, he's just a regular guy. He just happens to be really strong.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff that, and not even supernaturally strong, just strong. And a lot of this stuff ends up being luck too, because he has help from the other guy who's there's not anything supernatural. The one guy's being a dick and wants to help Michael for some reason.
Yeah, because he's obsessed with him. I liked how he got his head stepped on. That was fucking choice.
Yeah, and I like that. And then they want to change it back to he's the embodiment of evil and he has superpowers. You get the shit kicked out of him, and then he pops up like he's in the Matrix and does a spin kick and knocks everyone.
Fucking had Van Damme double Michael Myers for that scene.
Fuck, it was like, the scene in the bad Matrix movie? Was it the second one where all the fucking Smiths are piled on him and he like flies up in the air?
All right.
And it, like,
I want to say yes to what you're saying, but I also want to note there is no bad Matrix movie. There was a bad scene in the Matrix movie.
No, 2 and 3 were pretty bad.
I disagree, but that's fair enough. I think they were both good movies.
I don't.
It's fine. That's
But
cool.
that doesn't mean they're not like fun to watch once in a while.
Yeah, I watched all 3 of them before I watched Resurrections.
I watched Resurrections before I watched the Reloaded and Revelations.
I went on a full Matrix movie marathon up to the release of Resurrections, including Animatrix.
There's a lot of things I liked about the newest one, especially all the digs to the studio.
Yeah, I liked a lot of that. That whole scene where he's talking to Neil Patrick Harris, who played his therapist, and they're talking about his work where he works at the game development company, and they go on the whole dialogue about the studio trying to take it over, and they're just going to have somebody else do it and scrap what had been done and all of this stuff. That's a nod to actual reality, and Warner Brothers saying that they wanted another one, and the Wachowskis saying, we don't want to do it. It's done. Like, it is what it was supposed to be. It's over. Leave it alone. And Warner Brothers saying, well, we own it, so we don't need you. This was just a courtesy call. And if you don't want to do it, we're going to do it without you. And we'll just reboot the entire thing.
Which you're probably going to do anyway.
So the Wachowskis, well, no, they're making 2 more movies. Resurrections was the start of another trilogy.
I read that Danny Boyle was supposed to make a Matrix musical thing.
That sounds terrible.
Slumdog Millionaire, dude. Well, he also did 28 Days Later. But yeah.
I mean, it could be
So
whatever,
they
but
are gonna make more Matrix movies with or without them.
yeah, I mean, well, they definitely are making. It's just one Wachowski now. I can't remember. I think it's Lana said that she doesn't want to do anymore because she did the first 3 movies, and that was when her parents were alive, and it was the last thing that they did before their parents passed away. And she said she wants to hold on to that memory and doesn't want to taint it for herself. So she doesn't want to partake in the making of any more Matrix movies. And I don't know. I mean, that's her take. I guess that's, respectable, but I feel differently. I think
they're both tired of it anyway.
I think making them would honor the memory. Yeah, neither of them wanted to do it. I mean, they flat out said that when Warner Brothers told them they wanted them to make it. They were like, no. And then Warner Brothers threatened to make it without them. And they were like, well, fuck you. We're going to make it and we're going to shit on you while we do it.
Yeah, which I liked. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I didn't like in the movie, but that part I really did like.
Yes, I didn't like the hiring of the new fight choreographer. I didn't like the fight scenes as much.
Yeah.
Not that they were terrible. It's just it has a different pace. It has a different direction to it. It's, whatever. I like the original fight choreo. And
I think the original seemed a little bit more
I don't want to say I don't like the choreographer. I didn't like the fight choreography, I should say. The choreographer does the choreography for the John Wick movies, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, but it's totally different,
it is
fight style.
Absolutely. And the way it's filmed is different and everything. And I don't know why the original choreographer wasn't back for it or asked. It's whatever.
Like in the original, it's almost like, because they learn it being plugged in. So it's almost not robotic or streamlined, but you know what I mean? Like you could tell their body moving and they're just doing it. The other one looks like they're just fighting, or like a John Wick movie where a real person would be doing it and not like muscle memory, like Upgrade or something. Like
Upgrade's such a good movie.
It is. It's great.
All right. I guess we can't really talk about Chucky. I am really excited for that second season. We'll have to come back to that one after you watch the first season. Okay. Smile. I guess we could swap out Chucky with Smile and just talk about that real quick.
I saw a trailer for it.
That also comes out soon, and I'm hoping it's good. It looks like one of those movies that's going to be awful. Just based on right, it does, but that's what I mean. Just based on the trailer, it looks promising as all hell, and looks like it's going to be great. But that also to me means it looks like it's going to be bad, because I feel like it's going to be one of those movies where they put the good stuff in the trailer, or the trailer gives promise to an idea that it's gonna be one thing and then it's gonna not be that thing. By which I mean good.
Well, like It Follows kind of did that, and I thought It Follows was good.
It Follows was good.
Yeah, and the trailer made it just seem like this.
Like, for instance, like you bring up It Follows, which is good because that speaks to how a trailer can promise something and then the movie can actually deliver. But on the flip side of that, you have Dark Web.
No, I never expected that to be good.
The Unfriended, the sequel, not the first one. The sequel, which has people on the internet talking to each other through a voice chat or a video chat, and it gave off this promise that, hey, this might be good. And
we watched that together, didn't we?
We did. That was actually one of our only viewing parties with the Slacker community where we all watched it while in a video chat. And it was great for that. I had already seen the movie, and it was way more fun watching it the second time with everybody, since we were all living the movie, except for none of us died.
Yeah. I made a lot of snarky comments, but I do that on the regular.
Yeah, it can happen. But yeah, Smile looks good. It was good times. Shout out to the Slacker crew. Everybody kind of fell off when we stopped running that.
That is true.
I tried to bring everybody back when I started the Slasher Discord, but I gave up on that because nobody came back and I stopped going on Slasher.
Yeah, I just got back on recently.
I log in every
Oh.
once in a while just so I can clear my notifications on my phone because I have a ton. But I mean, when Slasher started, we were all, everybody, like it was an actual community, you know, like people talked to each other and it was very personable and personal and interactive. And then Damon just decided that he wanted to make Facebook, and like it became it's ads and promotions and self promotions and memes, and it's just literally Facebook with a dark theme.
I would say that the Slack didn't really matter what was going on in the app anyway. So I think we just, because I kind of dipped out before everyone else did, and then when I came back, there was less people. I was like, oh.
Yeah,
that's kind of shitty.
Bella and I both had a kind of falling out with Damon over things and just decided to distance ourselves from that. And then everybody was just like, poof.
Yeah, I think I was there when you guys started having issues, and I was like, well, that's fucked up. And then I left.
You were like, I'm getting ahead of this fucking curve. Not gonna be the last one out.
Well, shit, like,
shit, you guys thinking about leaving? Well, I'm gone.
Yeah, it's like, I even came up with the idea for the book club, and I never went.
Yeah, that's true. You did. You pitched book club, and then somebody else started it, and you were like, "Well, I'm fucking out of here."
That's what I do. I implant ideas, and I go.
Yeah,
I'm like the wind.
Like Charles Manson of book clubs.
Well, like I helped set it up and all that crap, and then I was there for some of the conversations about Lovecraft.
Yeah, it started becoming a problem. People didn't want to read the books, or people had a problem with the books that were chosen, stuff like that. Book club actually picked back up on the Discord I created for a little while.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, they were doing book club on there. It's got its own channel and shit. And then the last time anybody messaged anybody inside the book club, they did a book club meeting on August 8th, 2021, just over a year ago. And then 7 days later, somebody posted a never before heard tape of a UK serial killer. And that was it. And then 7 days after that, somebody commented, looks interesting. And nothing. October 22nd, 2021, the book club officially died. Actually, I mean, we could say that it was August 15th. Oh my God, that's not 7 days later. It was a month, 7 days later. 2 months. It went from August to October. Holy shit, I can't even calculate months. Yeah, book club died in August of last year. And I mean, I've tried to reach out to a few of the members of Slacker that were always there and bring them back, and got nothing. So I hope that they're all doing well. A few of them came into the Discord. We all hung out and talked a little bit for a while, and then they all disappeared. Damon actually, I got Damon to join the Discord.
Oh, did you?
And he told me not to allow Mother Suspiria to join because they had been dating and they had a rough breakup. So he said, and Tara and I, Mother Suspiria, are still friends. We still talk every once in a while. We talked back then quite frequently, and every now and again I'll reach out and see how she's doing, see how her dad is, because he was very sick. He's still fighting cancer. You know, I keep in touch, but I had already invited her into the Discord. And he joins, and the first thing he says is, don't invite her. And I was like, I already did.
Yeah.
He's like,
first of all, that's not how this works.
Yeah, and he's like, could you not? And I was like, no, I couldn't not. I can make it so you two can't see or interact with each other. I'll gladly do that. And then he reached out to me a week later, and he's like, yeah, I have to leave. I can see you talking to her, and I can see other people talking to her. I can't see what she's saying, but it's still too much. And I was like, okay.
How's he gonna run an app? Is she not on the app anymore?
I don't know. I think she still is on Slasher.
What happens if she's getting harassed? Is it gonna be too hard for him to help out with that? I mean, that's like his whole
thing. Yeah, I know.
Job.
Yeah, he fucking had me moderating the app for free. And I was like, all right, I'm cool with that. You know, I figured eventually maybe he would compensate me for that. And at one point he offered to send me merch for free for my services and shit. And 2 years later, I still don't have that merch.
I don't know. Like, I don't want to like turn this into like slasher digs, but not, if your whole job is to like run an app and there's a group for that app, that group is for people that use the app. You
Yes.
can't be like everyone but her.
Right? I can't do it. It's too painful. I mean, I
understand it's rough, but like,
I even reached out to her and asked her if it would be problematic. And I told her that I was going to block them from being able to see or interact with each other and all that. And she was like, whatever. And I mean, she told me the entire backstory of why they stopped being a thing and all this stuff. And I mean, we had been talking about it before, like, they ended and shit.
No.
So, I mean, it was less on her, I guess, is all I will say about that.
Well, I've been thinking of messaging some of the people we used to talk to all the time because it was her, Bella. I just don't message people.
Yeah, it was Suspiria, Bella. I practiced Bitchcraft, Scream Queen. God, I can't remember Scream Queen's husband's name or his username. I think his actual name was Matt.
Yeah.
But it was like Dark something 666 or some shit.
Yeah, I've been thinking about messaging some people, but I don't.
Well, I mean, I've tried to get in contact with them several times, and I can't. I mean, Suspiria, if I was to message her right now, she'd probably message me back. So,
well, tell her I said hello.
I will. Well, yeah, I don't know. Slasher was great when it started.
She can message me if she wants. Like, I'm on the Slasher.
And I think the community in Slack was wonderful when we had it.
Yeah, it lasted. It was a good while.
Yeah, it went for like 4 or 5 months steadily of everybody getting together every Friday and hanging out and talking.
Yeah, and I even went. That's.
I even showed up for that shit. Yeah, it was good times. Good people. I mean, that's how I met you. It's how I met Bella. How I met Suspiria. We've been talking regularly for the last 2 years since.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think I dipped out. I did dip out.
Yeah, it's not really a thought. It happened. As a matter of fact, I don't think I still have it. But I'm going to see really quick.
I don't remember what happened or what I was doing. I mean, that's where we met like Penny Lane and all them cool people.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, fuck it, I ain't coming back.
Yeah, pretty much.
Was it? I don't remember what the reason was anymore. Was it just I was tired of Slack, or did I just stop using Slasher? So I was like.
I don't remember, to be honest.
I mean, now I'm signed in and I kind of look and see how people are doing and shit. I don't see much of the people we used to talk to on there anymore. Maybe it's just gotten so big I can't like find them. But
no, I don't see anybody anymore either. And I mean, there were people that I talked to quite frequently on that app, and I've actually tried. Well, not recently, but I had tried periodically after that to reach out to them and ask them how they're doing, but I don't think they're on the app anymore. They be ghosts.
Maybe ghosts. That goes to the horror app.
Yep. All right. Let's see. I am opening the Loonsville Slack right now to see when.
Is there a Loonsville Slack?
Yeah, you started one.
Slasher?
No, I have two. You started one.
Oh.
For us to be able to do podcasts in and stuff.
Yeah.
Demonic Kitten, Dick Payne, Mim, Sarah Bond, and yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like they've cleared the chat history. So
we're gonna see what the last message was.
Yeah, I was trying to. It's all empty. All right, I'm gonna check the Slasher one.
The Loonsville one's cleared out. That one's probably cleared out.
There's one message in here, or two.
Really? From who?
One is from Scream Queen 612, not the original Scream Queen, that we all talked to all of the time. A different one that actually lives in Minnesota, which was kind of cool and weird to me. And then myself. I put a message in there telling people that they could join the Slasher Discord.
So you were the last one on the sled.
Yes, I was the last person that messaged anybody inside of the Slasher Slack channel.
The last one standing.
And I should be able to see members. I want to see if everybody left. Mentions, reactions, direct messages. Ooh, the last message you sent in Slasher, the Slack Slasher, was October 6th, 2020. Hilarious. Penny Lane.
What was my last message? What did I say? Oh, I'm curious now.
At least it was usable. Haha. Do with that what you will. It's weird. I can see the last messages people sent, but when I click on it, there's no thread. Like all of the history is gone. I can't see context or anything.
At least it's usable.
At least it's usable. Famous last words. That should go on a tombstone.
I should.
The last message Bella sent. I was watching the new Witches and getting school stuff out of the way.
Yeah, that movie is awful.
Tomorrow. This is the beginning of the death of Slack right here. Is this message? Would you be interested in making a graphic for Slasher Movie Night? We need to put a message out looking for a new host and would like to have a graphic for it. Are you interested in doing that? Are you interested in helping out with movie night? I was so sad when I heard, and it cuts off. I can't read the rest because it won't let me expand it. But when she sent me that, I messaged Bella and told her about it. And that's when we just were like, this is fucking dumb. We're over this.
You did.
Well, because she had been trying to get help with the fucking movie channel from Damon forever, and then they did nothing. And she was like, well, fuck it. I'm out of here. I'm putting in so much time doing this, setting this up, hosting it, being there, making all the fucking posters and all this shit for it. And then she's like, I'm done, which was understandable. And then that's when Damon's like, you know what? We should do stuff.
Yeah. Well, that was always like, we were around for like so much drama, and then I got tired of it, and then he just kept coming up, and then you guys left and then it died.
And we were there for all of the drama.
Because it steadily got worse and worse. It was like boiling water. Well, that was our little Slasher rant.
Yep, just the obligatory rant on Slasher for a little bit there.
Yeah.
All right.
Good times.
I think that about covers the Halloween stuff. A little throwback to 2020 Slasher, where we had all the Halloween times. Every day was Halloween. Horror movies every Friday. It was a beautiful thing. Too bad it died. Yeah. Covered anticipations for a few productions coming out very soon. Some of them immediately. Oh, I was going to look that up.
Well, I hope they're all good, and I hope I'm disappointed. I am not excited for Halloween. Not really. Well, what else was I not excited for?
You're not excited for Halloween. October 7th is when Hellraiser comes out. So Thursday night at midnight.
I'm interested in Hellraiser.
Which I will be up for.
That is good as well.
Yeah. I'm excited, especially if they're doing away with the whole pinhead thing. That seems like a step in the right direction.
Yeah. A good Hellraiser movie is a good idea. Like, I hope it is good.
Agreed.
I do believe they've set the bar so low that even if it's just mediocre, they're like, fuck, this movie is great.
Yeah, totally. So I think we'll come back after these all come out and talk about, how we actually feel about them. Hellraiser, Halloween, you got to watch Chucky. We'll both have to watch Smile. Yeah. And then we can do an episode discussing pros, cons, if not just why it didn't work or why it was amazing.
Yeah. Well, we shall see.
Yeah. Hopefully it's good. And with that, I think we can Thanos snap ourselves into the ether.